Good day and welcome back. Since I just finished cleaning up after this one, I kind of brought to mind a thought that a subject that nobody ever seems to talk about, but it's a really good indicator of just how worried your horse is how often it poops. Now, I know that sounds weird and nobody talks about it. Everybody's always talking about, head, eyes, ears, all sorts of things like that show how worried the horse is and how tense it is. But one of the really good indicators of a worried horse is how often it poops. Now, when I bring this one in, I'll say one of my other ones, when I bring her in, she can spend several hours in here and not go once. Because we've been working with her for a long time. She's not too worried anymore. This one here, though, particularly when I first brought her in, within a matter of 15-20 minutes, she'd already gone 3 times. And not only how often they go, but the consistency tells you a lot as well. As the more often they go, if it's really frequent, you'll find that the piles are getting smaller and a lot looser and wetter. And that's a sign of a very nervous, worried horse, because that is typical behavior of a horse. When it gets nervous, it relieves itself. It's one of those things that you can use as a guide, just overall, not specific at any given moment, but overall, it's a good indicator of just how worried the horse is. Now, this one, over time, she goes less often. The consistency is different. Even after she goes a second time, it's still fairly firm. It's not a really loose, small pile. It's a pretty legitimate one. And so that kind of tells me that, she's mellowing out. She's getting more comfortable with me and the things I ask her to do. So just one of many, many things that you can use as an indicator of, overall how stressed and worried the horse is. Now, like I said, it's not going to give you an indication at any given moment, but overall, it will now. And another good example of that is quite often trailering. When you're trailering a horse, it is not uncommon to see a horse relieve itself just before or when it goes into the trailer because it's worried about it, if it's not real good with it. And in fact, that's kind of an old school cure for colic, is if your horse doesn't, it has a blockage, isn't moving and not relieving itself, stick it in a trailer, because generally that'll make it go. Because generally most horses are not really well trailer trained, and they get a little worried when they go in the trailer, which in turn causes them to relieve themselves. So that's an old school treatment for colic, is actually sticking a horse in a horse trailer. But if it's properly trained, that isn't going to work anyhow. But I just thought I'd mention this since I was on the thought, having just cleaned up after this one, is that's one of those things you can watch for. And it'll give you a really good idea just how cool the horse is with things, or how worried it is how often does it relieve itself, and the consistency of those piles. It tells you an awful lot, actually. It took me a while to actually clue into that, even though it's kind of obvious. I can remember years back, I was watching another horse that somebody else was riding, and it would constantly be relieving itself while it was being ridden. The piles were really small, very loose. It was a very worried horse. Eventually they quit riding it because of that, but that was when it really dawned on me after the fact, was no wonder. The signs were there the whole time. That horse was not comfortable with being ridden. So there's something for you to watch. Okay, folks, have a good day.